Our third speaker this evening is giving us a project from the Purpose of Strategic Relationships Path to Build Skills as a Leader in Communication. The projects on this path focus on understanding diversity, building personal and/or professional connections with a variety of people, and developing a public relations strategy. Alissa VanDeman told me that one of the benefits of Toastmasters for her has been meeting new people and broadening her network and experiences. The purpose of the Level 1 project that Alissa is working on today is to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. This is the second speech. Alissa enjoys challenging herself and her children to grow. She voluntarily faced one of her own fears this summer and single-handedly drove a total of 3,600 miles for their benefit. Listen in and let's see how she did it. Vacationing in 2020. Alissa VanDeman.
It is a pleasure to be here with all of you this evening, challenging myself to improve my speaking skills. Along the way, I want to challenge each of you to voluntarily participate in my speech with your feedback. You won't let me down, will you? I didn't think so. So please raise your hand if during your childhood you went on a family outing or vacation. Awesome. Do you remember the anticipation, the excitement of getting packed and ready for an adventure? I sure do. There is one vacation that I took with my parents and my brothers that is just seared into my brain. We traveled from Indianapolis to Tampa, Florida, and if there was something that could go wrong, it went wrong. Let me think here. The car caught on fire to begin with. The air conditioning went out, and we even had a flat tire, leaving us stranded on the side of the road. Let me tell you, that was pretty exciting. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, my name is Alissa VanDeman. When I became a parent, I could not wait to give my 3 boys challenging adventures like I had experienced. Summer of 2020 came along. The year itself had been a challenge. What was the summer vacation going to hold? I don't know, perhaps it was scary, going to be scary like Don's projection of America's future. Now, I didn't plan for the car to catch fire, the air conditioning to go out, because I had been there and done that. I even bought new tires for the trip so we wouldn't be left stranded on the side of the road. However, there were 2 things that left me more concerned than any of those. First, falling asleep behind the wheel while traveling 3,600 miles. And the second, driving through the country during a pandemic. How does that work? It seems so challenging. I decided to take some advice from Nike. Just do it. So I just did it. I received an invitation from my mom's best friend, Cheryl, to stay at her lake house for a couple weeks while she and her husband went camping. Her daughter, Jody, who was like my biological cousin, would be there. It was going to be a great time. So I called up my brothers in Indianapolis, my sister in Texas, and the plans were set. July 4th, we would descend upon Jody and that lake house like a flock of wild geese. As far as being concerned about falling asleep behind the wheel, that truly was my biggest challenge in my mind. Typically, I can hardly drive more than 40 minutes without falling asleep. There are days I fall asleep driving home from work. Thanks to the pandemic, though, that doesn't happen anymore. Now, beyond just doing it, it is important to plan. I planned to listen to a book on Audible, a real thinker of a book, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. Have you heard it? I planned to talk to friends as I drove. I even planned to bring you all along with me and attend a Toastmasters meeting. And you know what? It worked. As far as the pandemic concerns, I plan to follow the CDC guidelines. Keep 6 feet distance between me and others when making pit stops, using paper towels or napkins to hold the gas pumps. And as much as John Morse doesn't like that bad air suck-up caused by the mask, I wore mine everywhere. After deciding to just do it Nike style and planning, the only thing left to do? Have fun. We had so much fun. 5 days at the lake, boating, swimming, fishing, roasting sausages, marshmallows, anything the kids could find over the campfire, and sleeping in the pop-up camper. My brothers, James and David, enjoyed being uncles, pushing the kids on the rope swing. Us moms, we had a great time watching their little bodies fly into the air and then splash fabulously in the water. Those are the memories that I enjoyed during my childhood summers at the lake, family and fun. Are those some of the things you remember on your family outings and vacations? It was time for the next leg of the journey, 1,300 miles to Katy, Texas. Pella and I decided to caravan back to her house. We made a few sightseeing stops along the way, something my parents never did and I always wanted to. So I had planned this for my kids, even if they hated it. We call it forced fun in my family. We even chose educational stops, destinations relevant to today's social injustices. Our first stop was at the Shawnee National Forest to learn about the Trail of Tears and the plight of the Native Americans being forced off their land. Experiencing it in person had a way of making it more real to me. We stood at a reconstructed fort overlooking the Mississippi River at our feet. I imagined boats overloaded with people making their way down the river. It became more than just a story to me. We stopped also at the Little Rock Central High School, which is still in operation today. It was the site of the desegregation in 1957. There's a visitor center across the street, which is part of the National Park System. After learning about what the Little Rock Nine persevered through in order to attend high school, our children became junior park rangers. They even received little badges. Talking to my 6-year-old son, Obadiah, about what he was seeing, he didn't understand that these children were being arrested because of the color of their skin. He looked at me and said, "Mommy, that's not fair. They should be able to go to school like me and my friends." It was heartbreaking to see that he saw the impact of what was happening. We arrived in Katy, Texas, tired and exhausted. We took a day to recuperate, and my nieces wanted to show us the town by taking us to the Children's Museum and to one of their favorite things to do in their city, volunteering at a local food pantry, dividing food. It was actually really fun. The rest of our time was spent swimming in the pool, reading books, basically staying up all night and sleeping in. It was great. In conclusion, there are 3 important things to remember when vacationing in the year 2020. 1, just do it, Nike. 2, plan to be safe. 3, have fun and enjoy the ride. Vacationing in 2020 is a challenge, yet adventure. Toastmaster?